Kristen Stewart's new movie Love Lies Bleeding is certified fresh on the tomato meter, restoring her fresh status after her previous 2024 movie broke the best Rotten Tomatoes streak of her career. Set in the 1980s, Love Lies Bleeding is an A24 romance crime thriller that follows Lou Stewart, a gym manager with familial crime ties who falls for an aspiring bodybuilder named Jackie Katie O'Brien. Love Lies Bleeding is directed by Rose Glass, who co-wrote the screenplay with Weronika Tafilska. Since its premiere at the Sundance Film Festival on January 20, 2024, Love Lies Bleeding's reviews have been overwhelmingly positive. Love Lies Bleeding debuted with a 91% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, via Rotten Tomatoes, tying with 2014's Clouds of Sils Maria as Stewart's third highest-rated movie by critics on Rotten Tomatoes. After its U.S. theatrical release on March 8, 2024, the film's score on the tomato meter may potentially fluctuate as more critics review it, but at the time of writing, Love Lies Bleeding remains certified fresh. This score put Stewart back on the fresh path after her first rotten movie in 4 years put a dent in a career-high Rotten Tomatoes streak. Love Lies Bleeding gets Kristen Stewart's Rotten Tomatoes scores back on track after Love Me. Stewart had the best RT streak of her career before the Sundance release. The day before Love Lies Bleeding premiered at Sundance, Stewart's other film Love Me made its debut at the festival, but to much poorer critical reception. Directed by Sam and Andy Zucchero in their feature directorial debuts, Love Me is a post-apocalyptic romance film also starring Steven Yeun opposite Stewart. Since its Sundance premiere on January 19, Love Me has garnered a 48% score on the tomato meter at the time of writing, aggregated from 48 reviews from critics. Unfortunately, this rotten score derailed a 2020 to 2022 record-high Rotten Tomatoes streak for Stewart. Before Love Me, Stewart starred in 3 consecutive, fresh movies that all scored above 80% on the tomato meter for the first time in her career. After 2020's Underwater was deemed rotten by critics, Stewart started a fresh streak later that year with the holiday rom-com Happiest Season, which has an 82% critic score. The following year, the historical drama Spencer, in which Stewart played Princess Diana, scored 83% on the tomato meter. Stewart maintained this fresh trend with the David Cronenberg sci-fi horror Crimes of the Future in 2022, which has an 80% score on the tomato meter. In her 23-year career, Stewart has only seen 2 other 3-movie fresh streaks. The most recent was in 2016 when 3 out of her 4 movies that year scored fresh on the tomato meter. 2 years prior, all 3 of Stewart's 2014 movies were also deemed fresh by critics. However, 1 out of 3 movies in both of these streaks scored in the 70th percentile, making Stewart's 2020 to 2022 fresh streak the best of her career. This record high was ruined by Love Me's 48% score, but thankfully, Stewart quickly bounced back when Love Lies Bleeding debuted at 91% a few days later.